All right, we are back, and now it's time to start working on the player shooting mechanics. First thing that we will need is to have some kind of gun model. And for that, I prepared the sci-fi weapons pack. It will be attached on this video. You can download it. It will be in the zip folder. You can download it, unzip, and then simply drag and drop this folder into this somewhere in this assets window, and you will see this folder of sci-fi pack. And here if we open the models, basically we have this rifle, knife, grenade, and pistol, and we will work on this rifle. So what I will do, I will drag and drop my rifle in the scene just like this. Let's change rotation to be 180, and also let's change the scale because I think it looks a little bit big for our player. Let's make Y and Z to be 0.8 and 0.8. And now let's position this rifle just like this. Let's go in the game view. This is how our rifle will look like. Yeah, I think it looks fine. Of course, you can use any other assets of the guns that you want. It might be still a little bit too long, but doesn't really matter right now. Uh, what we can do, we should basically assign and make this rifle to be child of the player in order it to work. But before we do that, you see this rifle has different kind of icon. It means that it's part of the prefab right now. So what I will do, I will just right click on the rifle. I will go in prefab and I will select unpack completely. And that's pretty much it. Now we can simply drag and drop this rifle into the player. So that's player is parent, rifle is child. And now if we hit play, this rifle will go with our player. And as you see, is indeed going. We can move, we can change directions and so on. So very nice. It means that everything is working with the rifle. Next step will be to make this rifle to shoot. Well, shooting we can slice with the two parts to be easier for you to understand. And well, in the first part, what we will do, we will make our bullets to appear into our scene when we, for example, touch specific key. For example, some left click, mouse click. And to do that, we obviously will need to have C# script. So in the scripts folder, let's create new C# script. I already created one and I called it player shooting. You can call same or you can call just shooting, however you like. Just make sure to assign the script into the player. So just drag and drop it into your player. I think I already did it. Yes, indeed, I have player shooting script here. And now let's double click to open in Visual Studio. Now, what we need here? We will need reference to few things. First of all, we will need to have some kind of fire point, which we position at the end of this gun. And let's create fire point for our rifle. So we can do it in the rifle. So in the rifle, let's right click, create empty, and let's call this one fire pause. And we should, as I said, position this fire pause at the end of the gun. So it will be our firing point. And in 3D mode, positioning these kind of empty game objects can be tricky, but no worries, you can rotate your mouse if you hold Alt. And we will position it in front of this gun. Try to make have some space between the fire position at the end of the gun, not to interact with our bullets with the gun. And I think it will be fine if we position it right here. Yeah, indeed, it looks fine from all of the directions. Just make sure to check from all of the directions to have correct position. And well, we will need the reference for that pyro position. So we will say public transform, and let's call this one fire pause. Also, we will need a reference for our bullet, which we will create. So public game object, and let's call this one bullet. And well, in the update, as I said, we will say simple logic that if we are touching specific key, well, I will do it on the left mouse click, very standard way. So if input dot get mouse button down, and in brackets we can say 0, which you already know, it means left click, and something should happen, right? We should shoot. But we don't have shooting function just yet, so outside of the update, let's create void shoot, just like this. And here we will use instantiate method. So we can say instantiate. Now, this instantiate method means that we are creating something in the scene. And what we want to create? Well, it needs to have few parameters. In the brackets, first thing that we should tell what we are creating. Well, we are creating bullet, obviously. After that, it needs to know what position to have when our bullet is creating. Well, we want to create our bullet in the fire pause, right? So we will say fire pause dot position, and then it needs to know what rotation to have, and for that we can say fire pause dot rotation. And we will call this shoot function here when we are touching the left click. So we will pass shoot function right here. And that's pretty much it. We can save the script and we can go back, let our script compile, and also we should create bullets in order everything to work. So let's quickly create some bullet as a placeholder for now. In the hierarchies empty space, let's right click, 3D object, and let's use spheres. Let's drag it out. I will change scaling on all of the axes to be 0.2. And well, it also needs to have some physical sense to it. So we will add rigid body to our bullet, and also change name of the sphere to be, well, let's call this one player bullet. It's like this. And well, let's hit add components. And in the search box, we will type rigid body, and we will add this rigid body. One more detail, we should uncheck use gravity because we don't want our bullets to immediately fall down when we create these bullets. And well, also we can freeze rotation on the X, Y, and Z because I think we don't need rotations at all. Let's scroll up. I think this bullet is still a little bit too big, so let's try 0.1s on all of the axes. Yeah, I think 0.1 is more logical size for this kind of bullet. And well, as I said, we should create prefab from these player bullets, and prefabs are just game objects that can be used a lot of times, can be used from the scripts as well, and can be created. So to create prefabs, so first thing that we will do, we will create folder for the prefabs. So create folder. Let's call this one prefabs. Let's open these prefabs, and to create prefab, we just need to drag and drop the game object in the assets folder right here. So we will drag player bullets in these prefabs, and now as you see, it has different color and different icon. It means that now we have player bullet as a prefab. Now we can go in the player where we have the shooting script, and it needs to have few things that we should assign. Just remember, in the bullet we should assign our prefab, not this player bullet that we have right now in the hierarchy. We will actually delete this player bullet from the hierarchy because we don't need it anymore. So let's scroll down. We will drag player bullet in the bullet field, and we will drag fire position in the fire position field. And well, now if we hit play, you will see that when we touch the left click, our bullet is created. Of course, it doesn't have any kind of force and speed and direction to actually go forward, but the main point is that when we click left click, we have the bullets.